Join us on this 7 miles kayak on the Wales coast from Saundersfoot to Wisemans Bridge, and then on to Tenby on the 30th of June 2021. Watch on to learn about the amazing scenery along this part of the Pembrokeshire Coast, the quaint seaside resort of Saundersfoot, the historic walled town of Tenby with its medieval castle and pleasant Georgian buildings, and most importantly, what good pubs there are along this route. Launching from Saundersfoot at about 11:30 am, I paddled eastwards for about a mile. At Wisemans Bridge I turned around and paddled back westwards, passing Saundersfoot Beach and Harbour before rounding Monkstone Point. I continued westwards, passing stunning cliffs interspersed with wooded valleys. After passing Tenby's North Beach and Tenby Harbour, I rounded Castle Hill and finally landed at Tenby South Beach at about 3 pm. It's about 11:30 am and I've just launched from the beach at Saundersfoot. It's a very hot June day and the beach in Saundersfoot is already busy. Saundersfoot grew up around the harbour, which you can see on the left, that was used to export coal from the local coal mines. There's several great pubs in Saundersfoot, but one of our favourites is the Old Chemist Inn, which is a beer garden backing right onto the beach. Over there you can see where the Wales Coastal Path follows the route of an old tramway and goes through a tunnel between Saundersfoot and Wisemans Bridge. I'm on the Wisemans Bridge side of the tramway tunnel now. It follows the route of the disused railway, which was used to take coal down to Saundersfoot Harbour. The beach at Wisemans Bridge directly ahead of me was apparently used for practicing for the D-Day landings in the Second World War. The Kayak Crew do like our waterside pubs, and over there you've got the Wisemans Bridge Inn, which is a lovely pub with a beer garden overlooking the beach. I'm looking east beyond Amroth towards the border between Pembrokeshire and Carmarthenshire. I haven't got my passport today, so I better turn around and start heading back west towards Tenby. I've turned around and I'm looking westwards back towards Saundersfoot with Monkstone Point on the left, so I'm going to start paddling westwards towards Tenby. This 7 miles paddle today is part of my undertaking to paddle the 870 miles or so of the Wales coast before my body packs in on me. Another Saundersfoot pub, which is a regular haunt of the Kayak Crew, is the Royal Oak Inn, which is a nice beer garden out front. There's a fairly high tidal range on this stretch of coast, and where I am now would roughly be at the water's edge at low tide. I'm just paddling past Saundersfoot Harbour. You can see the entrance to the harbour there, and the harbour wall. It's about 90 minutes after high tide, so the outgoing tide should assist me a bit, paddling westwards towards Tenby. I'm going to have to paddle out and around Monkstone Point over there on the left, on my westwards odyssey towards Tenby. There's a fine view looking back east over Carmarthen Bay towards Amroth, Wisemans Bridge and Saundersfoot. The sea is lovely and calm today, but I did check the sea swell forecast using surfforecast.com before I headed out. I'm just rounding Monkstone Point now, and in the distance there you can see the skyline of Tenby, my destination. Over there on the left you can see Monkstone Beach, which is a nice beach near to Saundersfoot, and I'm looking back towards Monkstone Point that I've just paddled around. You can see the skyline of Tenby in the distance over there, and you can even make out the tall spire of St Mary's Church that dates back to medieval times. I did this paddle in June 2021 when most of the Kayak Crew was still using Pro Aqua inflatable kayaks. The Pro Aqua kayaks are compact and stable single-person inflatables. The Pro Aqua kayaks were a workhorse from when we started kayaking in 2016 until late 2021 when we started to progress to more advanced types of inflatable kayaks, which are made from drop-stitch construction. I've got some company on the water over there. Looks like some fellow paddlers have come across from Tenby as a welcoming party for me. In terms of logistics, I got dropped off earlier at Saundersfoot by my mum, who then drove on to Tenby, where I'm going to meet her at the end of this paddle, unless she's deserted me of course. I generally do one-way linear paddles if I can, because I can cover more of the coast, and also it saves me doubling back past the same scenery that I've already seen on the outward leg. If you only had one car, then bus 381 runs regularly between Tenby and Saundersfoot. This drone footage looking back eastwards from Tenby gives a good perspective, showing some of the route that I paddled between Saundersfoot and Tenby on this trip. It's a stunning section of the Pembrokeshire Coast. I paddled towards Tenby's North Beach, spurred on by the prospect of some beers in some of Tenby's finest watering holes after the paddle. I'm nearing the North Beach in Tenby now, and you can make out the colourful Georgian buildings overlooking the beach. On the left you can see the remains of Tenby Castle perched on top of Castle Hill. I'm looking across towards Tenby Harbour. It's quite nice paddling around the harbour itself, surrounded by all of the colourful Georgian buildings. That's Tenby's old lifeboat station with the red roof there, and then that's the current lifeboat station ahead of me. And on the left, coming into view, you've got St Catherine's Island. Tenby was taken by the Normans when they invaded West Wales in the early 12th century. The town's first stone wall fortification was on Castle Hill. Tenby's mercantile trade grew as it developed as a major seaport in Norman-controlled Little England beyond Wales, as this part of South Pembrokeshire was known. I'm at the top end of the South Beach in Tenby now, and on the right you can see one of the boats that goes across to Caldy Island. I'm on the west side of St Catherine's Island now, and as usual the sea's a little bit rougher because it's more exposed here. Just looking down the South Beach towards Giltar Point in the distance. Tenby became popular in Georgian times as a bathing resort for the more affluent sections of society, and much of the colourful Georgian architecture originates from this era. On the left past the beach you've got Tenby Castle's remains up on Castle Hill, and on the right you've got St Catherine's Island with Palmerston Napoleonic Fort. With the construction of the town walls, Tenby Castle was made obsolete and had been abandoned by the end of the 14th century. Tenby's town walls date back to the 13th century, when they were built after the town had been sacked several times by the Welsh. They are one of the most complete medieval town walls remaining in the UK. On the left of the picture you've got Caldy Sound and Giltar Point, and on the right of the picture you've got South Beach, where I'm just going to head in to land. While this route between Saundersfoot and Tenby is a fairly sheltered and safe stretch of coast to paddle, if you were to continue westwards down the coast, then Caldy Sound between the mainland and Caldy Island can be a very frisky and potentially dangerous stretch of water due to the tidal races that can run there. The Kayak Crew like nothing better than a few beers and some food after a long day's paddling, and in Tenby we're spoiled for choice. Some of our favourite haunts include Tenby House, set in a historic Georgian building which was originally a medieval coaching inn, the Hope and Anchor, which serves consistently good food complemented by a wide selection of beers, the Harbour Brewery Tap and Kitchen, which claims to have the sunniest beer garden in Tenby. And if you like Italian food, then Florentino's down by the harbour is molto bene. If you enjoyed the video, then please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing by clicking on the left below. Click on the right below to be taken to the playlist of videos of our other trips around the Wales coast. Don't forget to check out our website, which is linked below. Happy paddling from the Kayak Crew.